the incomparable Mr. Paul Simon, one of my favorite songwriters there, with Slip Sliding Away, which was included in the Greatest Hits compilation, Negotiations and Love Songs from 1988. Originally appeared on the LP Something So Right, I believe. Oh no, seems that was the B-side. Remember B-sides? Anyway, Paul Simon, Slip Sliding Away from 1988, right here on 91.7 WLFR Pomona. And you are listening to The Light, powered by AtlanticCityFocus.com, where every Tuesday it is election day. We do election coverage, and we also do civic engagement coverage. And as we are coming into the home stretch of this year's election, be on the lookout for the Civic Engagement Guide 2025. All right, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, now I'd like you to help me welcome Maureen Rowan, who is running for New Jersey Assembly Legislative District Number 2. Good morning.
Good morning.
Okay, I may need you to get a little bit closer to the microphone.
Good morning. How's that?
This is a little bit better. Try it one more time.
Good morning.
There you go. All right. How are you today?
I'm very well. Thank you for having me.
Thank you for taking time out of your busy schedule to be with us. I'm excited to have you here.
Thank you.
All right. So it's been a long campaign so far. And I guess what I'll do is I'll start by asking you this. Can you please introduce yourself and tell us about your platform?
Good morning again. Thank you for having me. My name is Maureen Rowan, and I am running for Assembly in the 2nd Legislative District. And before I give you my platform, just a little bit about my background. I'm a retired trial attorney. I practiced in Philadelphia for over 35 years. Mm-hmm. I have been a resident of Atlantic City for almost 6 years. And so here I am running for public office because I felt my skill set would allow me to be an effective advocate for the people of Atlantic County. One of the primary tenets of my platform is to restore affordability to Atlantic County and to revitalize economic development in Atlantic County. I think affordability, not only in Atlantic County, but I think all over the country, is probably the primary issue that families are facing today. And they're facing affordability crisis in energy prices, housing, healthcare, taxes. All those things have to be addressed. Would you like me to address them separately, or?
Well, I think what I'll do is I'll run down the line, and as we get to separate issues, okay, I'll give you opportunity.
Okay. And then, in an attempt to restore affordability to Atlantic County, revitalizing economic development in Atlantic County goes hand in hand. I think that we have to recognize that our economy in Atlantic County has to be diversified. The casinos have proved to be a valuable asset in Atlantic County as far as employing people, buying goods and services, but we have to diversify. First, because there might be casinos in North Jersey, there might be casinos in New York, there's already casinos in Pennsylvania. So we have to keep an eye on diversification. And I think we have the opportunity to diversify. AtlantiCare has some great plans going forward. The airport provides potential. The FAA Technical Center provides potential. Also, small business development provides potential. Governor Murphy just signed a bill with regards to enticing manufacturers to come here. So the affordability and revitalizing the economy go hand in hand, and those are the primary focuses of my platform.
All right, if you're just tuning in, you're listening to The Light right here on 91.7, and we are underwritten by AtlanticCityFocus.com. This interview will be posted, video of the interview will be posted at AtlanticCityFocus.com later on in the week if you'd like to check it out at your leisure. And we also remind you that if you're listening in your car, you can listen to WLFR on any of your smart devices by going to www.wlfr.fm. We are here with Maureen Rowan, who wants your vote for Legislative District Number 2 for New Jersey State Assembly. Okay, so here's the question. What does a state assembly person for the state of New Jersey for Legislative District Number 2 do? Now, before you get started, I am only a radio station DJ, so I need you to talk slow and to tell me in terms that a radio station DJ can understand.
Okay, I think you underestimate yourself, but here goes. An assembly person in the 2nd Legislative District, or in any district in New Jersey, is the representative of that district. They're similar to your representative in the United States Congress. You introduce legislation, you pass legislation, and probably one of the most important things is that you have input into the budget, what gets put into the budget and what eventually gets passed in the budget. And that is the gist, for lack of a better term, of what does an assembly person do. They're representing the needs of the desires of the people of the Atlantic County that they represent.
Okay. And how do I know if I'm in Legislative District Number 2?
Well, you can Google it, but I do have a list. It's
Okay.
most of Atlantic County with a few cutouts. It's all the shore, the coast, Atlantic City, Ventnor, Margate, Longport, Summers Point. Then we have Mays Landing, Hamilton Township, Egg Harbor. So excuse me if I'm missing some, but I do have a list, but that's how you know. But it's easily, if you want to just Google it, Legislative District 2, it'll give you the whole list.
Okay. And correct me if I'm wrong, which I probably am, because you can tell I did a whole lot of research. You'll be running against Claire and Don?
Yes, that's correct.
Okay, all right. So now you know. We have Maureen Rowan in the building, and she's here to answer questions. If you get an opportunity to call the station, we can't put you on the air, or if you follow me on Facebook, or for those of you who happen to have my personal cell phone number, if you text me a question, I will ask Ms. Is it Ms. Rowan?
Ms., yes.
Ms.
But
Rowan.
please call me Maureen.
Maureen, the questions that you have, and of course I always have questions on tap. I know you touched on it a little bit, but as a retired trial attorney, I figured that you could relax and enjoy, the rest of your life. Why specifically did you decide that you wanted to run for public office, or this particular public office?
I've always been interested in politics, but never felt that I had the time to commit to it, given the nature of my practice. Being a litigator is very demanding, and I was also the owner and managing partner of our practice, so it was very demanding. So when I retired literally right before COVID, so I was in the house for about a year. But then afterwards, I became involved with the South Jersey Democratic Women's Forum, which really sparked my interest in becoming involved in politics, more involved. But I thought it was going to be more helping candidates, which I did some volunteer work for candidates. But then I was approached about the possibility of running for assembly. First I thought it was crazy, but then I thought more about it, and I thought it would be an excellent way to give back to my community. And that's why I decided to do it.
Very well. Okay. All right. Let's get right into the heart of the matter. One of the things that I've discussed with every candidate, whether they've been for city council or for legislative district assembly people, um, has been housing. We're at a point now where if I take a cardboard box and stack it on top of another cardboard box and put it in the parking lot, I can legitimately, with a straight face, say I should get $2,000 for that as a duplex for each unit. Um, what is the Maureen Rowan plan for affordable housing in New Jersey?
The lack of affordable housing is a nationwide problem. It's a terrible problem and it's nationwide. In New Jersey, I think there are certain things we can do. One is to ease up the zoning and permitting process. There's a lot of bureaucracy involved in trying to get affordable housing. Having some type of first-time buyer assistance or rental assistance to get into a housing development. By law, there is a requirement for municipalities to have affordable housing. Unfortunately, that law was never really strictly enforced, and not going too far into the weeds, but in 2024, Governor Murphy signed a bill which seems to put better enforcement mechanisms into effect so that there's an assurance that affordable housing is permitted in a community and is built. Those are some of the things. There's also a lot of vacant properties. I have seen some proposals for empty shopping centers or empty office buildings if there was a way to turn them into affordable housing. The rents that certain people are charging now is outrageous, and a lot of that is, unfortunately, I think, the corporate entities get together and buy the properties and charge exorbitant rates. That is something that has to be looked into. I don't think that is as much of a problem in Atlantic County as is the lack of housing, affordable housing. So, but those are some of the things that I would look into doing once I become a member of the Assembly.
Okay, all right. I do know nationwide that companies from outside the U.S. are purchasing homes in all kinds of areas, from urban areas to suburban areas, and actually allowing those properties to remain vacant to, further frustrate the problem and screw up the market. So.
And not to interrupt you,
Sure.
but yes, that is a problem. It's a problem in Atlantic City. They call them blighted properties. They're not vacant, they're not abandoned, they're up to date on their taxes, but they're not paying attention to the properties. And one mechanism to get them to pay attention is more strict code enforcement. If there's a code violation, they're cited, they have to pay, they have to take some action. So that is a problem. That they're just buying up the property, we don't know why, because then they leave it vacant and are not taking care of it.
Okay. If you're just tuning in, you're listening to The Light on 91.7 WLFR. We're talking to Maureen Rowan, and we are powered by AtlanticCityFocus.com. All right, so if my apartment costs me between $1,400 and $2,000 a month, what is the jobs or career? I don't even like the term job, because I don't think nobody should have, me personally, I don't think anybody should have a job. And I think people should pursue careers, but for the sake of this conversation, what is the jobs plan that Maureen Rowan has for New Jersey?
The plan is in connection with revitalizing the economic development in Atlantic County.
Okay.
And I think that it's right to be happening. I mentioned Atlantic Care before. I think they have a great project. Hopefully it comes to fruition.
Right.
One of their aspirations, but I think it's becoming a reality, is to build a medical school in connection with Drexel and Stockton. And in connection with that, they're going to build 200 units of affordable housing, not for the students, but for the residents of Atlantic City.
Okay.
Their proposal is to be basically what's called anchor institutions. So
Okay.
education and medicine will become the anchor institutions. I mean, we're sitting in Stockton right now, a beautiful campus. I think Stockton has done a lot for the community. If there is a medical school, it can do even more. So you have the anchor institutions, education and medicine, that really help to revitalize a city, a county. It happened in Philadelphia. In Philadelphia right now, it's basically education and medicine.
Right.
And Philadelphia is a very vibrant city. And I think that that could happen in Atlantic City and Atlantic County. That's one of the things.
Shout out to Christian Ragland.
Yes. I've met Christian. Yes, shout out to him. And also shout out to Bruce Weeks, because what he's doing with the small business economic development for Atlantic City, I think is fabulous. He's doing a great job.
Are you going to be at the Black Business Expo this evening?
I am.
Okay, all right. So if you'd like to ask Maureen a question directly this evening, 5 o'clock, the All Wars Memorial Building. Will that be your first time there?
No, I was at the Veterans, the 100th anniversary celebration.
Right.
Yes.
I saw you and Terry there.
Yes, and I'm going to be there tonight at around 6 o'clock.
Okay, yeah, so there you go. All right, if you're just tuning in, you're listening to The Light. So my next question is, you can't turn on the Facebook or the Instagram like we got it on TV, right? You can't turn on the TV, the Instagram, or the Facebook without seeing masked, armed ICE agents detaining people, some of whom are American citizens, some of whom do not have criminal records. What is your stance on ICE, on them being armed, with them technically invading cities? That's my language, not yours. So if you don't think it's an invasion, correct me. And also detaining people.
I think it's terrible. My stance on immigration, being a lawyer, I firmly believe in the rule of law. I believe everybody should abide by the law, including immigrants who come here illegally. They didn't, but then the majority of them have lived productive lives in this country.
Right.
And we rely on the immigrants. The way they are being treated by ICE is a disgrace. And they're being denied due process, which everyone is entitled to. And as a lawyer, I think I take particular offense that these individuals, who are not, most of them who are not criminals, are being denied due process. And I believe the way that ICE is operating is terrible. The masked men jumping out of cars, terrorizing people. It's not what our country is supposed to be about. And I think it makes it more dangerous for other law enforcement, because then nobody trusts anybody in law enforcement. But I think the ICE mechanisms of what they're doing, I'll say it again, is terrible.
Okay, so let's go off the board for a second. As a trial attorney, and you primarily did defense?
Well,
or both defense and prosecution?
so I was a civil attorney. So I did
Oh,
civil
money.
cases, not criminal. I did civil cases, and we had a little niche. The majority of our practice was, believe it or not, representing railroads in a variety of cases. Yes.
Okay, I guess I'll never play you in Monopoly. Or if you play Monopoly, do you always want to get all the railroads?
Right. Yeah. So that was a little niche practice. So it was
Okay.
interesting.
See, I thought you had some Barnaby Jones or Rockford Files type stories you could share with us.
No, but I do have some good stories, even though they're not criminal stories. So.
Involved from your time as a lawyer?
Yes, because the cases involved, usually involved serious injuries. And
Oh.
so, yes.
Yeah, okay.
And you
That's
got to
funny.
learn a lot about medicine and just learning about the mechanisms of how the railroad worked was very interesting. The industry is a very interesting industry.
So this is what I know about the railroad. Every time I meet somebody and they tell me that they're an engineer, including my sister-in-law who is an engineer, I do the same joke. Oh, do you have your own choo-choo train? So that's all I know about the railroad industry. Tell us something about the railroad industry that the average person doesn't know.
Well, we did a lot of work for the freight railroads,
Okay.
Norfolk Southern and Conrail, and that's just like a whole entity unto itself. I don't want to bore people, but one of the interesting things is when you go to a railroad yard and you see how they move the cars around to basically make up a train to go out onto the tracks to deliver the goods. I mean, it sounds boring, but if you watch it, it's fascinating. The engineer, the choo-choo engineer,
Right.
says to the conductor, no, I'm sorry, the conductor says to the engineer, come on back 2 lengths. So that means 2 car lengths. So they're moving the train 2 car lengths back to hook up to another train to eventually make a full train to deliver the goods.
Now, how many cars on an average railroad?
It depends. Everything's different. It really depends. There can be some that you have very short, number of cars, but there can be
Right.
30, 40 cars.
Sheesh.
Yes.
Are hobos still a thing?
No, they're not. Not that I never saw, and I was I was in railroad yards a lot, and I
Okay.
never saw any hobos.
And I was about to play some Dean Martin too. Not Dean Martin, Roger Miller, King of the Road.
Right.
Trailer for sale or rent. If you're just tuning in, you're listening to The Light, and we are talking to Maureen Rowan, who is running for New Jersey Assembly Legislative District number 2. All right. What else have you got for us on your agenda?
With my platform, I
With
think
your
those are the
platform.
primary things. Education is also, I would say, on my platform. I think we're fairly fortunate in New Jersey that New Jersey it wants to fund education, and they take education seriously. The teachers are well paid. The schools are, for the most part, well funded, although there's always complaints that we didn't get enough. But in New Jersey, the funding is determined by a formula in the hopes that there's not disparity between schools. And again, in the New Jersey Constitution, students are entitled to a thorough and efficient education. So the formula has to make sure that the students are provided with such an education. So education is also an important thing because, as you said, we just don't want people to have jobs. We want them to have careers or professions, something that they enjoy, and not just something that they have to do.
Yeah, a place that they go on Monday to get through to
Right.
Friday.
Right. And I believe education helps it become a more fulfilling experience.
Okay, all right. If you're just tuning in, you're listening to The Light right here on the mighty 91.7 WLR Pomona. We're here with Maureen, Rowan. Now, did you say you're originally from Philly?
I am. I grew up in a suburb of, first in Germantown, then in Warminster, but I spent my whole career in Philadelphia.
Oh,
Lived
really?
and worked there, yes.
Okay.
Yes. I love Philly.
Okay, all right. Well,
I love Atlantic City too.
do you like playing games?
What kind of games? That's too broad of a question.
I got a game.
Objection.
Overruled. We got a game called This or That. The good news is there's no losers because we're not giving away anything. But the
Okay.
bad news is there's no winners either because
Okay.
we're not giving away anything. Okay, so I don't know if you're old enough to remember some of these things, but we're going to go through some Philly places and moments, and we're going to ask you to pick this or that. All right?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Veterans Stadium or RFK Stadium?
Veteran Stadium.
Why Veterans Stadium?
Because I remember that one. I didn't really remember RFK Stadium.
Really? Okay. All right. RFK Stadium was pretty cool.
I was never there.
I think their last show might have been in '82, between '82 and '80s.
I'm old enough to remember that, but I was never there.
Okay. All right. The Philadelphia 76ers or the Philadelphia Phillies?
I think the Phillies, although I didn't follow it that closely, but I'm a little more familiar with baseball than I am basketball. But I like basketball.
So you're going to say the Phillies?
I'm going to say the Phillies.
Okay. Who's your favorite Phillies player?
Alec Baum. Just
Okay.
because one of my friend's daughters dates him.
Oh, wow. Okay. Who's your favorite Phillies player all time?
No, not of all time. Again, I'm not that familiar with the whole history of the Phillies, but they're doing well this year, and
Okay.
I think they're cool.
Okay. All right. Well, we're playing this or that with Maureen, Rowan. And so far as sports is concerned, not doing too hot.
What about the Eagles?
Well, I figured right now they just won the Super Bowl. So if I said God or the Eagles, you probably go,
I love the
I'm going to say
Eagles.
God. God is a Yankees fan, but if it wasn't for that.
No, I love the Eagles. I like football,
Oh,
the
okay.
best of all the sports. And I'm a follower, but I'm not an avid follower. I guess I'm a
Okay.
casual follower of all sports, but I like football the best.
Oh, okay. So if I said Ron Jaworski or Randall Cunningham, would you be able to pick?
Yes, Randall Cunningham.
Oh, why Randall?
Because from what I remember,
Right.
he was very good. He was fast. He was effective. He was well liked. So,
Okay. I would pick him too, but I love Jaws.
I love
and
Jaws.
And he has a business right here in the area. I think. Wait, did he sell his interest?
I think he still has a golf course.
Yeah.
I like him as an announcer too on the show that they have after the Eagles game.
Yes.
I like that.
Yeah. Shout out to Jaws.
Yes, I like Ron
Good,
Jaworski.
good guy. All right, we're talking Philly with Maureen Rowan, even though she's running for office here in Jersey. This or that, Philly pizza or Philly hoagies?
Hoagies.
When was the last time you had a good hoagie?
Well, the hoagies down here are pretty good. I hate.
You better,
they're-
now listen, do not get yourself excommunicated from Philly.
No,
I
no,
can't
no,
help
no.
you get
Wait,
back over the
wait.
bridge.
This is going to be embarrassing, but I actually had a hoagie from Wawa the other day, which was actually pretty good. Believe it or not.
She said that.
Believe it or not. Believe
I
it or
eat Wawa
not.
hoagies, but there's no way I would say a Wawa hoagie is going to be better than
No, it is not.
Sal's.
It is not. It is not. But when, that was the choice presented to me, I took the Wawa hoagie since I was not in Philly. So,
Okay. All right. We're having a good time playing this or that with Maureen Rogan. She wants your vote for New Jersey Assembly Legislative District number 2. You said you didn't know that much about basketball, but I gotta ask you, Allen Iverson or Dr. J?
Dr. J.
Why Dr. J?
He, again, similar to Randall Cunningham, he was such a professional and such a gentleman, such a lovely person, and a great player. So.
Okay. All right. Well, if you're just tuning in, you're listening to The Light, and we're breaking up our conversation with Maureen Rowan about politics by we played a little game called This or That. This isn't a this or that, but where's the one place that you still love to go to when you're visiting Philly or when you're going back to Philly?
Neighborhoods or just restaurants or in general?
In general, like you can give us a neighborhood, an event, or a restaurant.
Well, I like Estia. There's so many good restaurants in Philly.
Okay.
Estia is good, which is right off of Broad Street on Locust between Broad and 15th.
Okay.
That's an excellent restaurant. I still, even though I'm retired, I still do mediations for the court on a volunteer basis. I conduct settlement conferences and mediations. And I still love to go into City Hall. I don't know if you've ever been there. In fact, it's very run down. But there's something about it that I really still enjoy going in there. It really makes you feel like a lawyer. They have ornate courtrooms and the halls, and you think of what went on there for so many years. So that's one of my favorite places. That's, it's Broad and Market, around that area.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah. Okay. All right.
We need better shopping in Philly, though. The shopping has gone down.
You see, here's the thing, and I was trying to move on to the next segment without getting into it. Philly just isn't the Philly that I used to know and love back in the 80s and 90s up until the 2000s. But then a lot of it has to do with technology, too, because, people can shop from their home.
Right.
They can shop from their phone. You can shop from your phone and buy a shirt and it literally be at your doorstep by the time you get home.
I know. I don't like online shopping, and I agree with you. I miss the shopping. You heard the Macy's in Philly closed, and that was originally John Wanamaker's,
yes.
Which was first of all, it's a beautiful store, and it was just a renowned department store. Then it became Lord and Taylor's and Macy's, but it closed.
Yeah,
it's sad.
Real quick, John Wanamaker's story. Easter